Welcome to all our viewers. This is Dr. Tebelele, go head to toe with Dr. Tebelele. Today we're visiting a very critical and nice topic, pitfalls of masturbation. Iziphumo nefuthe lokuzanelisa ngokuzenza ngesandla imicimbi yesondo, whether ngumuntu ongumama okanye ungumuntu ongutata. Pitfalls of masturbation is our topic. This is prompted by a very short message that we received from Anonymous. This male partner ukhathazekile kakhulu xa ujonga le message. Just read the message line by line. Ufumanisa uba lo bhuti ukhathazekile. He found that after having a sexual encounter with a partner yakhe or the spouse, uye umama ekhaya okanye usisi lo aphume aye ebathroom, then ubhaqwa ngubhuti ezenza, that is a masturbator, that is continuing the sexual act on herself in order to fulfill and satisfy herself. Then xa ujonga le message lo bhuti ukhathazekile uthi le site ayibonileyo, le nto ayibonileyo esenziwa ngusisi xa imconfront okanye imbuza ngayo uba why are you doing this? Then usisi puts it blank and blunt into yoba the reason ndisenza le nto is because awundifikelelisi kuvuthondaba, undishiya phakathi oko, and it has been a long-standing frustration kum. Awundifikelelisi kuvuthondaba, hence ndifumanisa into yoba oyena mntu uzenza bhetere ikwandim, yiyo le nto ndiqhubeka nokwenza le nto. And then uthi ubhuti ke ngoku in the closing part of the message into yoba andikhange ndikwazi ukuyixolela le nto at all, andikwazi nomjonga, ndiyayiqalekisa. It means le nto ayibonileyo uzibona as a-failure as ubhuti, if at all. Okanye usisi in her failure to disclose into yoba akaneliseki kulo mcimbi wokwabelana ngobhuti akafikeleli kuvuthondaba, but continues to self-gratify. Uyaqhubeka nozenza nokuzanelisa. And then we need to look deeper into this, because a lot of people can find themselves bekule meko akuyo usisi okanye bekule meko akuyo ubhuti. And it's not only a question of usisi doing it. Even on the vice versa, it can be ubhuti ofumanisa into yoba aqhube nosisi, then ahambe ayomasturbate after. Or else the common part of it is that the male part would actually go and do masturbate. Kuba kwakumasturbator, usually is people mhlambi abanalento sithi premature ejaculation, to try and counter or diffuse the situation, so that afikelela kulo mjikelo woqala kusisi yena abe kumjikelo wesibini, because there's a delay no kulo mjikelo wesibini, so ufuna ulasta longer, then abe kanti wenze masturbation before. Mhlambi, do you do that secretly, or is it wise to be open about it? That is why it is becoming a talk in our show tonight, noting the message is what has prompted us from Anonymous. Masturbation by definition is an act yokuzisatisfy ngokuzenza ngesandla apha kwi-private part okanye uziphatha phathi nasemabeleni until you reach orgasm yourself. Okanye ninovumelana nineqabane nobabini into yoba this is what I'm going to do, then the other partner can either assist in the act, and some people can use as kuthiwa zii-sexual toys. But ikakhulu kule case sithetha ngayo is someone who does it on herself or himself. Then sijonge into yoba inganobungozi obungakanani naloo nto, okanye inganefuthe elingakanani empilweni yakho, kwi-relationship yakho nakwi-sexual life yakho, njengoba sibona kusenzeka kulo mzekelo ubhalwe apha ngu-Anonymous. I-masturbation okokuqala, it's something that people do as a self-discovery tool. Umntu mhlawumbi uyazidlalela, mhlawumbi let's say ngumntana osazama uba okay kumnandi xa ndiziphathe endaweni ethile, okanye someone osaqabukayo, then afumanise into yoba xa ndiziphatha endaweni ethile kumnandi, xa ndizibamba endlebeni ndiva kamnandi, xa ndizibamba ebeleni ndiva kamnandi, xa ndizibamba edolweni ndiva kamnandi. Then they continue doing that. kungekho nto wrong naloo nto. There's nothing wrong with self-discovery. Akho nto wrong nokuzidiscoverisha, but the problem is after discovering yourself and then sele ukwi-age ke ngoku ne-license of being sexually active, you can be trapped kulaa nto ye-self-discovery oko uzidiscoverisha kanti sowudeske wancamathela yangumkhwa, or it became a habit into yoba wenze i-masturbation, be it you are a man or a woman. Ingakwenzela ntoni loo nto going forward? One thing that you must know, it is healthy and proper to do it, akho nto wrong, as a self-discovery method. Then izinto ezinokwenzeka eziyi-problem is addiction. Anything has got a potential of being addictive. You can be addicted to the act of masturbation. Ufumanisa into yoba sometimes you always create a space soba lonely, ube wedwa, or you end up watching some porn to activate yourself, okanye through it thinking about sex, and then you get aroused and then you end up doing it. Then ufumanisa ngoku is becoming a routine. Then it can be problematic because iqala as a discovery, laa nto kuthiwa experimentation. Then emva koko ubone uba sowuyenza as a routine, and then you get addicted. When you get addicted to it, it can create problems going forward because it can render your partner useless. Uzawuthi sewunayo ipartner kongoku yokwenza nawe, ube wena sowuqhele ukuzenza to an extent into yoba ungakwazi uyiva xa isele isenziwa ngomnye umntu, ungafikeleli kwi-top notch okanye kwi-peak okanye kwi-orgasm xa usenza nomnye umntu, because ingathi akade afikelele kule ndawo wena udla ngozifikelelisa kuyo. One thing you need to do in such situations is to make sure you talk about it before you become addicted to it. Ungazofikelela kule situation sikuyo, because ngoku sisi does the act with ubhoti ngathi is doing some kind of service, then ugqiba kwakhe yena abone uba andifumananga le nto bendiyifuna apha, then ahambe as if uyochama, azivalele ebathroom, then aqhubeke nozenza. Meaning, but you've got a problem of premature ejaculation. What is premature ejaculation? Is coming early, repeatedly, on various occasions. It can be caused by stress. We've discussed it many times. It can be caused by a number of medications ezithile, but the problem yobhoti kukungayilandeleli. Ungayilandeleli umntu afumane unyango lwayo, deske ilidishele kule nto sikuyo ngoku yento yoba umntu azikhangelele ezinye indlela zokuzanelisa. Iqabane lakho libone uba ayidilunge le nto, ndishiyeka phakathi qho, ndishiyeka ndinxunguphele. Let me look at other ways of satisfying myself. Either umntu umbone ethenga i-toy, sex toy, which is nothing wrong with that, and angayidisclose, angathethi ngayo into yoba ndizawuzithenga i-sex toy because of 1, 2, 3. Because it would be nice to discuss even the issue of the sex toy so that niyazi nobabini nincedisane even in using it. Or else it opens a gap or a hole for cheating. Then umntu akhangele into yoba who else can actually take me to a destination. Then ke ngoku ivula imingxuma for obenten. Ngenxa yoba kukho le problem that has not been acknowledged by utatekhaya into yoba uza kwangoko afumane unyango. So masturbation can lead to such acts. And also masturbation can actually lead people to addiction. Mhlawumbi umuntu aphele addicted to phona afuna into ezamprompta nezawufuna umenza into yoba acinge ngale nto azawuyenza, okanye something to motivate him or her, okanye abe stuck kwi-sex orientated magazines. Then in doing so, there's an element of loneliness apha kwi-relationship kwenye ipartner le inide attention yakho, because wena soloko ufuna ixesha loba wedwa, soloko ufuna i-opportunity to perform this thing on yourself, whether you are a man or a woman. Ngoku it means as much as une-spouse, esi spouse sakho asinikwa thuba okanye asifumani thuba sokufulfila i-partnership okanye i-role yakhe apha kule partnership yenu noyi-two. And ke ngoku ayonto kuthethwa ngayo, ingathi linyala or it's a taboo. Kanti the moment you discover into yoba bhuti awundifikelelisi okanye sisi awundifikelelisi kuvuthondaba, ndicela undenze ngolu hlobo, It's not like umenza useless or stupid the other person, but it's about you. It's about you. You are unpacking yourself. You've done a discovery of yourself, then uxelela iqabane lakho openly. Openly into yoba mna ke undiqhuba kanje nakanje nakanje nakanje, then I won't struggle ukufikelela kuvuthondaba before you actually get deeper and deeper and trapped into ye-masturbation, noting that it is not wrong to do it as long as you are open about it so that you are not addicted. We are trying to block umcimbi, your addiction. And then in some cultures, it can be a sin to see someone masturbating, hence it is done behind closed doors. If you can see what people do behind closed doors, then you can see that there are a lot of people who engage in acts of masturbation, but they never admit to it. It's like a stolen thing, hence in a potential of being too much addictive. There are a lot of men who engage in it, and some, they find it difficult to get out of it. Hence, we are talking about it. Highlighting ngusisi, but it's even more common in males. Irrespective of a religious background, irrespective of a race, irrespective of a sexual orientation, which is actually very important to understand. So masturbation is real, but with a potential of being addictive and in a potential of hampering the relationship and even making things worse in terms of the problem ebangele into yoba siphele sikuyo, like it is highlighted in this message. So what I would advise in this situation, since sekwenzekile, now we are in a messy situation, ubhuti seyidiscoverishile and usisi is not budging. Is just telling him into yoba the reason ndenze le nto is because of you. So it's a blame game. It leads to an extra fight that could have been avoided. Then izawuphela ke ngoku imenza ubhuti even more difficult for him to seek medical attention. Kanti xa kusenzeka izinto kukhona frustration in terms of getting fulfillment from the act of sex, it's better to talk about it. Let us evaluate each other. Evaluate each other, sinikane feedback into yoba how did it go? How did I do? And so on. A scorecard of some sort in a friendly approach so that you begin to highlight into yoba hayi undishiye phakathi, I hope next time you'll sort this and that and that. Okanye you lost me some way. That is highlighting the problem of erectile dysfunction. Undishiye phakathi in the sense yoba uze kwangoko, or undishiye phakathi in the sense that impempe iyakolapsa. Hence ke ngoku kufuneka undigqibezele. Hence I always advise as a working tool going forward into yoba xa ungubhuti uzibona into yoba umcimbi uye wakulahleka endleleni, usisi okanye iqabane lakho lingekafikeleli kuvuthondaba, then use other tools to make sure that you push the process forward. Kungathi kwawukholapsa impempe okanye usoshiywa ngamajoni earlier, that is coming early, then ucimba kuphelile. You can use all your other senses, your fingers, your tongue, and so on, to make sure into you do not leave things hanging, because that can be very, very frustrating and it can be a killer punch to your relationship. Hence, you need to be warned and understand that leaving things halfway is frustrating not only for the other partner, but also for your marriage and your relationship. In many times, it may not only lead to a masturbation, but it may lead to other items like obenten. So let us take care of that, and it's a reality. It's something that is happening, even though people are not talking openly about it. The reason we bring it up as Aphile communication is because it's something that has a potential of denting so many marriages. And ayonto inothethwa nakonozakuzaku sele bexabene abantu into yoba hayi eyona nto ibanga basixabana actually utata lapha uwenza indlwabe, umama lapha uthi andimfikelelisi kuvuthondaba. Soze ubone zithetho ezo zinto, otherwise it will create conflict and then the issues will be made peripheral. Kuzawuthethwa ngezinto ezikude kule nto eyenzekayo kuba kuzanywa ukhusela isidima somnye nomnye. Is there any treatment for a situation enje for someone who is trapped in the habit of masturbation? Yes, once we find that a person is addicted to masturbation, we can send them for a counseling through a psychologist, social worker, or a sexologist to make sure that therapy, there's a therapy sessions, ziyaqalisa, to make sure indoba we find out indoba how deep the addiction is. Noba umuntu addicted kwintoni, the first thing you need to establish indoba how deep is the problem and for how long, and then the reasons which are highlighted in the message are very clear indoba usisi has always been left hanging. Kuyingozi ke ushiya umuntu hanging engafikeleli kule ndawo kufikelelwa kuyo because they feel intoba bazi objects of le act of sex, then umuntu aphele ezenza. Then psychotherapy can actually help not only one partner, but it's always better intoba after a session or two with one partner, then the other partner or spouse can join in to make sure intoba is part of the solution. So is solution okanye to win a person out of masturbation, you need to first recognize that this is a problem. I'm trapped into the act of masturbation, and the reason I'm trapped is because I was not getting fulfillment from his spouse. Also, some people can actually, through therapy, find out intoba mhlambi they've got issues of sexual orientation, basene confusion okanye bane zinto abangafuni uzi-admita. Then once they get into a session, then they are able to face those things, then umuntu azinarrate kakuhle, then going forward they get assisted and helped so that umuntu aphile lento ayiyo and abe honest about feelings zakhe instead of ukuzivalela ekamereni. Sinento esithi behind closed doors. We don't know what people do behind closed doors, but we definitely know that a lot of people, whether they admit it or not, they engage in a lot of masturbation. And secondly, as a result of the pitfall in masturbation, we get to find out that there are other problems that are actually highlighted: premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, and then resultant unfaithfulness. Even in pitfall, one of them can actually get an STI. Then uzophela mhlambe finish indoba hayi ndiyayishiya le relationship, then aphele out of frustration ehambe elala apha nalapha, then creating chains of HIV, chains of STIs because of the frustration of, because of the dent, emotional dent and injury to psyche yakhe. Umuntu aphele senza izinto ekhuphele enga kwabanye abantu just because of the discovery of this thing and the way it was discovered. So let us make sure that we take lessons from what we have seen today, and we take lessons from line by line reading of this message to make sure intoba thina going forward we can prevent this from happening by open communication, giving each other feedback, preventing addiction. Once we discover intoba this is how we reach orgasm through self-discovery, then we find it easy. Sifumana kulula uxelela ispouse sethu intoba nansi eyona nto endifikelelisa ukuvutha undaba, then a lot of ezizinto can be prevented. And the reason we're touching on this thing is because some people find it difficult to talk or give feedback. Iba ngathi mhlawumbi umuntu umenza isifede, iba ngathi mhlawumbi umuntu you got it somewhere, then uyamkalisha, comparisha with another person. And there's nothing wrong. Once you listen to the show and then we introduce the topic on imamele no two, then you begin, even if I call masturbation, the lesson is that you must learn and make it a habit to give each other a feedback. It will create more bonding, it will create more satisfaction, and it will create more union and even adventures zenu that are actually meant to discover more about each other as you connect spiritually and you connect physically and literally. That is the lesson we can learn from the situation. And there's painful messages like this, which are many. There are many in my inbox, hence I decided to actually come and discuss it here. with young men who are actually trapped in the habit of masturbation, irrespective of their religion. You can also be weaned off the habit by actually making sure that you talk to someone you trust about it. Then they can connect you with some of the people who are vested in this. Like I said, for psychotherapy, then you can be assisted. Please make it a habit, or please follow us at Aphile Communications on YouTube as it is displayed below YouTube, and also make sure that you click on the subscribe button. That is where we are most of the time, and also follow our Facebook page, which is also Aphile Communications. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Aphile Comms. These are topics that they seem heavy. These are difficult to talk about issues, but they affect multitudes and multitudes of people. And knowing that we've got a responsibility to cut off chains of transmission of HIV, STIs, and many other problems like infertility, to make sure that people live happily and healthily, even sexually. Thank you so much. See you next time.